like what you're seeing here, subscribe to this channel for more. What up guys, this is Monkey Figure Reviews, and today we are going to talk about this figure in front of us. I believe his full name is called the One Piece SCultures Figure Colosseum 3 Volume 3 figure Nightmare Luffy by BANPRESTO, and he was released in 2014, so that's a good 6 years ago. And if you're just a rather seasoned One Piece collector, you should know by now that this guy here, he is extremely rare, crazy rare, mainly because it is just so popular. I believe because of a few reasons. Number one, people love his form. This Nightmare Luffy form is so badass. It is so strong in this and so unique. So people jump at the chance to get a figure of him here. And number two, they didn't really make many figures of Nightmare Luffy. So if I am remembering correctly, other than this guy here, there's only the Ichiban Kuji version, if you're talking about big size figures. So not a lot of choices to go around, and this is definitely a lot better than the Ichiban Kuji Nightmare Luffy. And thirdly, the quality of this figure, of this sculpt, it is so good considering it came out 6 years ago. And even when I'm looking at it now, I think it still holds up really well, and even better than some of the figures coming out in 2020. So this is a really awesome figure if you're just talking about the quality, the details, and the style itself. And other than that, there is another, I would say, a big problem plaguing this figure, and that is there is a lot of fakes out there, crazy lot of fakes. And I got my figure actually secondhand, so I do not have the box to sort of authenticate the Toei sticker, and even looking at the box printing itself. Those are usually some of the methods you use to check for authenticity. So I was asking a seller back then, I was like, send me more pictures so I can take a better look. And going online, doing my research, googling, and there were so many fake Nightmare Luffy figures that it really clouds your judgment. You can't really tell the real one from the fake one. It takes a lot of extensive research, even for someone like me. And I bought this about like last year, so I've already been collecting for quite a number of years. So I've seen weird versions with, I don't know, like his body is grey, and the obvious fake one is when his body is really shiny, like a deep dark blue, and it's really shiny. And there are versions where the sword actually comes in 3 pieces, but actually the real figure, it comes in 1 piece. And lots of weird shiny versions, and almost if you just Google it, I'm pretty sure like your first few results, first few searches will give you fake Nightmare Luffy figures, which is a real bummer. And I believe most people wouldn't be able to differentiate, so they might get it and they might recirculate back into the market again, and it just makes things worse. So hopefully this video we get to really see how the real one looks like if you are someone looking to get an authentic figure of this guy. Alright, let's get down to the parts of the figure. There's a total of 7 pieces for this figure. We have his base, we have his sword, these are his legs, and we have the 2 muscular arms, we have his torn shirt, and we have his main upper torso. So if you get a figure like I mentioned previously, in which your sword just comes in 3 pieces, or you know, anything more than 1 piece, most likely your figure is a fake. You have to be very careful about that. As usual, let us take a closer look at the figure, starting from the head sculpt. And in terms of facial expression, I think this is really well done. It really captures the anger, how pissed off Nightmare Luffy is here, with all the shadows infused into him. On top of that, the painting on the eyes, the eyeshadows, the teeth, as well as the scar, those are really well done. Even on the skin itself. Okay? And since this is kind of overarching, I guess I would just say here, the details on the figure is absolutely insane. So if you look around here, you can see like random veins kind of popping up, even on the side of the forehead. And you can also see all these lines just kind of running down the middle. And just by looking at that, you can tell they are really going for the manga-ish drawing type of realism style, and they really added a lot of this random kind of lines and minute details all over the figure, which to me, I feel it is much more difficult for them to put on the mold when they were doing these figures, but they have decided to do it. So really kudos and credits to them, because it just makes the whole figure look more realistic, looks more badass. And even like, I don't know, like you guys can see the chest here, right? This random depressions going down. This is how insane it is. And today, I think now in 2020, you wouldn't get much figures that go into such style. They usually go for the very clean anime-ish look, cartoonish look. And this is the ears. Hope you can see it here as well. And the hair just kind of flowing towards the back. Very spiky, each one of them. And the finishing is very well done, so you don't see random lines or random pieces of the hair just not smoothened out properly. Generally black in color, and I think also for the whole figure itself, there's not much shading, so you just get this tone of blue for the skin throughout. And the shadowings you see, I believe they are just parts of the sculpt when a light is thrown onto it. And for his body, you can see how insane the muscle sculpt is, the details on it, the muscles, the chest muscles, the abs, even the neck, man. Look at this. This is some crazy stuff. The neck muscles and the veins popping out, whatever those are, from underneath the skin. Just so realistic and extremely detailed. Even the back here, the back muscles, the lines of, I don't know, those indentations. You know, because it is a lot of work for them, I believe, to carve it into the mold where they mass produce all these figures, but they have decided to do it back then. It's something that nowadays I don't see anymore by Bandai Spirits and BANPRESTO. Maybe only for Ichiban Kuji, like the Snakeman, but that's probably the only one I can think of this year that, in terms of the details of the figure, the quality, it is as good as this 2014 Nightmare Luffy. Kind of sad and disappointing. So yeah, I think I'll just leave it to you guys to see for yourself. Look at the details, man. The veins on the arms and the fist. Even the nail, it's kind of slightly painted darker. Really, really awesome. Okay, I'll just show you guys all the angles I can show you. And wow, even though I have this figure for a long time, I didn't really take a good look at it until now when I filmed the video. So even I'm getting impressed once again. So these are the back muscles also. Crazy, really crazy. And the shirt itself, you can see the details they've added to it to show how shredded and torn it is, and all those lines to add on to the style, and all those minute small little holes they added. Like, I have no idea how they do this back then, because it seems like it's a lot of work. And the tiny little straw hats over here to show the size of Nightmare Luffy in perspective. Possibly this is the only piece of the whole figure that is lacking in details. Possibly, because it looks very, very simple. And what I want to mention also is actually there's two joints for where the arms go into the figure, but it is so well concealed by the shirt, and that is something I really like about this figure too. It looks very natural. Maybe you can sort of see it peeking out underneath here, and also maybe here, but generally it is not very obvious. It is well covered by the shirt. And of course the sword itself, you can tell it has something like a black glossy paint, golden paint at the bottom, and the handle is just pretty much like that, red in color. And they even have some battle damage, battle worn details they added, some lines, some cuts on the sword Okay, and the rope or the string, whatever you call it, is just kind of pretty normal, pretty standard. The height of this figure from the bottom to the top of the sword, it is about 17.5 cm, so about 7 inches. And if you're talking to the top of his head, it is about 5 inches, so about 12.75 cm. And if you want to add the base, just add another 1 cm or so. Here I have taken out SCultures figure Colosseum gear for Luffy, and you can tell they are pretty much around the same size, the same sort of representation. But if you talk about actual scale, then of course it is not accurate, because I believe Nightmare Luffy is just a lot bigger than Gear for Luffy, just by looking at the size of the head. But if you do not really care about those things, if you just want sort of different forms of Luffy looking very close to each other, I think these two will look fine next to each other. Here I have taken out my Ichiban, Kuji, Boundman and Snakeman, so you guys can have a feel of how they look like next to each other. You know, I think scale wise not a match, but if you want to display them like this, it is still fine. It still looks pretty badass with the different forms. Maybe one day they might give us a better and more improved version of Nightmare Luffy. Not really better, but I think the details wise this is already very good, but bigger would be better. Maybe up to this size, that would be really awesome. Alright guys, that's pretty much all I have to say for this Nightmare Luffy figure. In conclusion, I think that he is still one of the best One Piece figures out there in the market, despite being released 6 years ago. And I would definitely recommend him to everyone, provided that you can find him. And also make sure that he is an authentic figure, because this point I can't emphasize enough. There is just a lot of figs out there, a ton of them in the market. You gotta sift through them to get the right one. And even then, once you find the authentic version of this guy, he would probably not come very cheap. He would probably be very expensive. So take care of yourself if you're looking for this figure. I really hope you guys don't get a fake. And yeah, other than that, I really don't have any complaints of him. Maybe if I just want to be extremely critical, the straw hats can be more detailed, but I think that's asking too much and pushing too much for a price figure. So definitely this is almost a perfect figure for me. Alright, yeah, so let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. And if you're new here, if you like my videos, do give it a thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos like this. Thank you guys once again for spending your time with me. I will see you very soon. Goodbye.